It's now 6 p.m. Hanoi time, and you are tuning into VTV News, brought to you by VTV International. And we now check out the headlines for this bulletin. Vietnam's efforts in public administrative reform recognized internationally. And a book exchange event fosters reading habits for youngsters. The top news for this bulletin: Prime Minister Nguyễn Tấn Dũng departed Malaysia for an official visit to Singapore at the invitation of Singaporean Prime Minister Lee Hsien Loong. Here he attended a roundtable seminar with leading enterprises in Singapore. He recognized the strong developments in Vietnam-Singapore relations, especially in the areas of economics, trade, investment, and tourism, and expressed his wish that relations will be further strengthened in the future. Earlier, the Prime Minister met with Vietnamese embassy staff and representatives from the Vietnamese community in Singapore. He asked embassy staff and Vietnamese representative agencies in Singapore to implement bilateral cooperative programs to cement their strategic partnership. The same day, Prime Minister Dũng attended a ceremony to mark Singapore's 50th anniversary of independence. Over the past 40 years, the bilateral relationship between Vietnam and Singapore has developed significantly. The country is currently Vietnam's second largest trade partner and the biggest ASEAN investor in Vietnam. According to Singaporean experts, the two countries' relationship is expected to strengthen in the future.
September 2013 marked an important milestone in Vietnam-Singapore diplomatic relationship, when the two countries became strategic partners. Vietnam became Singapore's only strategic partner in the ASEAN region. Since then, the two countries have continued to develop with visits from high-ranking officials and officials exchanges.
It's not just political or economic, right? It extends to the judiciaries, the courts cooperating with each other. There is also military cooperation. There's also increasing people-to-people exchange, particularly in education. And of course, for Singapore, Vietnam is an important market. At the same time, Singapore is also the largest investor from ASEAN. The relationship is also important because Vietnam is an important player. Vietnam's role in maintenance of stability in the South China Sea is also an important area.
One of the highlights in the two countries' bilateral relations is the investment relationship between the two countries. Vietnam received investment and experience from Singapore, while the ASEAN country can seek out new opportunities to expand in Vietnam.
i.e. Singapore sees a lot of investment opportunities in Vietnam. The first will be in consumer services. So Vietnam has a very big population of about more than 90 million. So that's a sizable consumer base, young population, median age of below 30. So there's a lot of demand for Singapore's goods and services. And the second opportunity will be in infrastructure. Vietnam still has a lot of room to grow and to develop. And in order for Vietnam to scale up, you will need to build more roads, airport, logistics facilities, and also in urban development.
In April, the Vietnam-Singapore Industrial Park, or VSIP, received its investment license from Nghệ An province. This is the 7th VSIP zone in Vietnam, showing Singapore's commitment in expanding business in Vietnam. Vietnam is also improving its investment environment to attract foreign investors to the country.
In other news, public administrative reform is now considered a government priority to improve the business environment. The country's efforts are reflected in the Provincial Competitiveness Index, or PCI, an area in which Vietnam has received a substantial amount of support from international organizations.
The Provincial Competitiveness Index, or PCI, is the result of a collaborative effort between the Vietnam Chamber of Commerce and Industry, or VCCI, and the Vietnam Competitiveness Initiative, funded by the U.S. Agency for International Development, or USAID. PCI was first measured in 2005 to evaluate the competitiveness of cities and provinces nationwide.
10 years since the first measurements, PCI has been proven to play a positive role. PCI enhanced the dialogue between policymakers and businesses to simplify administrative processes. This has improved the business environment in each locality and in the nation at large.
Besides PCI, administrative reform is also reflected in many other indexes, including the Provincial Governance and Public Administration Performance Index and the Public Administrative Reform Index. These indexes are built with the support of UNDP in Vietnam.
Clearly, there is improvement in terms of citizens getting better administrative services, and those include services they receive at one-stop shops and as well as public service.
The above indexes have helped local authorities to see the limitations in administrative processes. Basing on that, they can have suitable actions and changes to create a better environment for businesses and improve local socio-economic situation. I believe that publishing an annual PAPI index is very important. The index measures transparency, which benefits both European and Vietnamese businesses.
Building indexes to assess administrative procedures are very important. It allows the government and investors to assess the capability and efficiency of local authorities and allows for economic development.
Building the public administrative reform indexes is part of the nation's comprehensive plan in administrative reform for 2011 to 2020, approved by the government in November 2011. This shows Vietnam's effort in becoming a more attractive destination for international investors.
The Vietnam Joint Stock Commercial Bank for Industry and Trade, or Vietinbank, officially opened its wholly owned subsidiary in Laos. The subsidiary was upgraded from Vietinbank Lao branch with a charter capital of $50 million. The subsidiary consists of the headquarters and the Pak Se transaction office. In Vientiane, Vietinbank will be the bridge to serve capital and banking needs and to enhance cooperation of Vietnamese enterprises in investment and commerce opportunities with Laos. Now, Vietnam is currently listed in the top 3 countries investing in Laos with over 400 investment projects. Vietnamese investors in Laos expect that investments will reach $5.8 billion by the end of this year.
Exotic Vietnam is an intriguing blend of many charms. This land is where all manner of stunning landscapes await like a visual feast, rivaled only by the beauty of its people and their abundantly rich tradition and culture. Here is where you can relive the past in richest color or live it up in the bright lights of the big city. With so much more to offer, Vietnam is simply unforgettable.
Welcome back to VTV News. Now, the Thanh Long Cup, Vietnam's first international traditional martial arts championship, kicked off this morning in Hanoi. The largest ever event of its kind brought together 50 martial arts teams from 30 countries around the globe. In the competition, martial arts athletes will compete in 5 categories in 19 weight classes, 10 for male and 9 for female competitors. The traditional martial arts are highly popular among Vietnamese people as a way to stay physically healthy and mentally focused, and as a self-defense technique. But as the internet penetrates further into our everyday lives, young people seem out of touch with books. However, a book exchange event held in Hanoi this weekend, attracting numerous Hanoian book lovers, has proved otherwise.
On Saturday morning, hundreds of young people gathered at Indochina Plaza in Hanoi for a book exchange event. All books can be traded in for tickets. which can be used to buy other used books. Although this is not a new thing, the sheer amount of visitors that this event attracted show young people's enthusiasm for reading.
In this age of technology, you can find a lot of entertainment on the internet, and not many people read anymore. But I think these books are valuable, and you can learn a lot from them.
This is the first time I've been to a book exchange like this. I was pleasantly surprised because I didn't think my old books could be valuable to others. I also found some interesting books for myself.
The event provided an opportunity for book lovers to find new reads. Organized by a group of volunteers, namely Circle of Friends, the event also helped provide books to underprivileged children.
We will sort out the books that are appropriate for the underprivileged children and then bring them to Ba Vi, Hanoi and Đại Bắc, Hòa Bình. We hope to provide books to children in other areas in the future.
The project has been in operation for 4 years, helping to encourage reading habits among youngsters and bring knowledge to children in remote areas.
The Labour Theatre in Hanoi hosted an exhibition this weekend entitled Fly, featuring paintings and handmade items made by children with disabilities from Thuy An and Hòa Bình villages. The event helped people understand and sympathize with the children here who must endure difficulties to live, to learn, and to dream.
Disabilities, physically or mentally, did not stop this teenager from expressing themselves through the paintings.
Their worldview is very simple. Their paintings are of their everyday lives. I bought this painting to show my support. I really like the use of bright colors, the green of nature mixed with the yellow brick house and red roofs.
Their artworks, along with 20 others by disabled teenagers and children from Thuy An and Hòa Bình villages, were showcased to raise funds to benefit the two villages. The exhibition is the last event in the Imperfection Project, organized by the Center for Sustainable Development Studies Vietnam. The project aims to bridge the gap between the disabled and society. The sale of these paintings and handmade items made by these children will benefit the children villages in Hanoi and help improve the facilities here. The first exhibition in the Imperfection Project, Mosaic, held in 2014, raised over $2,000 and saw the participation of nearly 70 volunteers. Organizers hope that this exhibition will be more successful and offer even more help to the disabled children.
And now it's time to check out our updated weather forecast. And that's all we have for now. For more information and updates, please log on to vtv4.vn or youtube.com/vtv4go. Once again, thank you for stopping by and goodbye for now.